And we are live. Greetings, greetings, greetings.
Greetings.
Welcome.
And greetings from the dog. She says
Right?
hello from Virginia.
Right on. Exactly. Right on time. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome back to Earth School Journey. It is a new year, it's 2026. Happy New Year to you all. Happy Gregorian New Year, if I may. Um, but yeah, welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you all are, back with us, joining us again another Wednesday. We're in a new month, again, a new year. We have a new curriculum that we'll be sharing with you all in 2026. And, to start the year off in January, we're going to be talking about vision. So I'm your host, Uni, and this is my lovely co-host, Umi Steph, and we are your peer guides. And we are just, again, so grateful to have you here with us today. Real quick, Umi, how you doing today, sis?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day. Any day that there's sunshine is a great day. It is sunshine and warm here in Virginia. It's almost 70 degrees.
Wow,
Yeah, so I'm
that's
doing pretty
amazing.
well. How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's still pretty chilly here in New Jersey. It's about 30 something degrees, so it's a little chilly out. Let me ask our viewers, where you guys checking in? How's the weather there? How y'all doing today? Post it in the comments. Let us know how it's going. But yeah, everything's good here in New Jersey. It's still a little chilly, but the sun is out and I have no complaints.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so this is our January homeroom check-in, and we are going to be talking this month about vision. As we started, as we shared rather last week for our study hall, you know, um, January, February, up until about March 20th, it's still kind of like a rest season. It's still time to like get things in order. We still got some time before the real new year, nature's new year, and the solar new year. There's so
Mhm.
many different words for it, but so we are going to be talking about vision this month because we're doing the work, but we are doing the work internally first. And one of the things that we are, as we were talking and doing our pre-work on this, our lesson planning. I don't know. We gotta lesson planning, and we were just really thinking about, how can we get prepared for the new year, the real new year, March 20th, the spring equinox, when nature starts to come alive again, when the sun really returns, how can we get prepared? And so we thought about it and we decided that we wanted to focus on vision for the month of January. We want to hold the vision. We want to, first of all, we want to be open to the vision, then we want to receive the vision, then we want to hold the vision, then we want to manifest the vision.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about that more throughout the month. And, as always in our homeroom check-in, we like to start off with our intention and our affirmation for the month. We would love for you to share your intention and your affirmation for the month in the comments as well. If it's around vision, if it's around another intention, or, maybe you have something else that you're working on this month, but we'd love for you to share with us. And while you all are making your comments, Umi, what's your intention for the month of January?
Oh, so after we had our pre-meet and had lots of conversation around this, the
Yes.
intention that I came to around vision, because I have several for the new year, but around vision, I intend to trust my inner knowing as it unfolds in its own time. And I chose that as my intention because I feel like a lot of times I get the vision, it's clear as day. It's clear. I know, sometimes I know what the end product is and I don't have all the steps in between. and I get really nervous about those in between steps, and I don't understand like what those in between steps are supposed to be or anything, and I sometimes get a little off track, or I think, oh, I start to get into my practical mind and not in my, spiritual mind, and I'll give up on that vision before it has a chance to manifest. I stop walking in that direction. And so trusting my inner knowing as it unfolds in its own time, and just believing that I'm still going to get there. I may only know the step in front of me. I may not know all the hundred and thousands of steps in between, but that's my intention.
I love that so much. I love that so much. And thank you so much for sharing. My intention for this month is actually similar. Like after as I'm listening to you and I'm like, yeah, my intention is really similar. And it is, I intend to make choices that are true for the long term.
Mm,
And, while you are trusting your inner knowing and, trusting that things are, going to unfold over time, for me, sometimes I feel like I can be a little short-sighted, for lack of a better word, Um, maybe I eat something quick, like fast food, you know what I mean? Where I realize that I really love, food that takes time to cook and that I have to like chop up my vegetables and my herbs and I love building and things being slow and I love taking time, but a lot of times I don't do that. A lot of times I go for the quick fix,
mhm.
And so a deep part of that is, I think we were talking about this maybe in November, if I recall correctly. We were talking about the darkness,
Yes.
but I feel like it was sometime during that month where I was saying that I have this thing where I have like a deep kind of like hunger within me. And so sometimes I can, just eat without being conscious of it. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
just I just want a quick fix. And so I'm really working on, just really holding my vision for the long term and doing things that I know are going to be healthy for the long term and not just a quick fix and
Mhm.
doing something just because it's what I want in the moment. What do I want for the long term? Really start thinking about, where do I want to be in 15 years from now instead of next week. You know what I mean? So it's been a journey to even understand that about myself. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But yeah, that's my intention for the month. So we also in homeroom check-in, we also like to have an affirmation. So Umi, what is your affirmation for this month?
So I feel like I chose an affirmation that like directly supports my intention because they're going to sound a little similar. It's I take the next faithful step, knowing the vision will become clearer as I take aligned action. And so, yes, I chose that specific affirmation because it's so aligned with the intention. And I think it's important to make sure that our affirmations are in line with our intentions. You don't want to be affirming something that's going to take you further away. And so, or that maybe isn't just directly, on point for what you're dealing with. And this one, I take the next faithful step, knowing the vision will become clearer as I take aligned action. And so, yeah, it's just to encourage myself to just keep taking that step that I see. Keep taking that step and know that when I finish that step or as I'm working on that step that the next step will come through, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that is so true. We have to make sure that our affirmations are aligned with our intentions to support us, overall. And so mine for this month is I see more clearly as I align with my highest good. And, similar to you, it is in alignment with my intention for the month.
Mhm.
I want to be in alignment with my highest good. Like, I don't want to just be in alignment with what's good for the moment or what's going to make me feel, satisfied for now. I want to be in alignment with what's really for my highest good for my life. And I want to do those things and I want to hold that vision, take those steps and, just really make it happen. So, I hope you all also shared your affirmation for the month. We'd love to see them in the comments, and I'm sure we're in the comments right now because
Right.
this is pre-recorded. And so we hope that you all are sharing, and as you're sharing, we're commenting and affirming your intentions and your affirmations as well, as you are hopefully helping us to affirm ours.
Yes.
All right, so thank you so much. So next in homeroom check-in, we like to do a present check-in. We know that living in this life, like a lot of times we are either stuck in the past on things that have happened, or sometimes we are stuck in the future, worried, concerned, so on and so forth. And so we want to make sure that we are, just doing a presence check-in and see how things are going. And so first, I'm going to pose the question to our audience, our community. How have you been present? Have you been present? Share with us, your presence check-in in the comments so that we can, help and affirm you as well. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask you, Umi, how present have you been with your vision?
Mhm. So, it's interesting because I would have said that I feel very present with my vision, probably 2 months ago, right? Or even all along, this time, but as I've really meditated on this, and with, a lot that's going on in my life and things like that right now, I think I am in that point of I exactly what my intention is that, like, I can't see all the steps, and so I feel I've started to withdraw, like to back up from it because I I'm afraid, like I'm afraid that it's not possible or it's not going to manifest, or maybe I got it wrong, or you fall into those moments of um like, oh, it just doesn't feel like it's happening. And so I've been present with the thought of it, but I don't feel like I've been present with the process of it. And I'm also looking at things that are manifesting immediately, like right now in my life, and having to recognize that the things that are coming right now are things that I manifested years ago, or months ago, or you know what I mean? It takes time sometimes for things to manifest. Not saying that things can't manifest immediately, but I hear it all the time, that what you're seeing right now is what your former self believed and manifested, through belief. And so I think I'm just having issue with that catch up time of like manifest already.
I hear you.
And so part of my intention is definitely to really immerse myself in that vision and be much more present with it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think we all can relate to that where we realize that, we want to get somewhere and we want to get there now. You know what I mean? Like we're not trying to wait or delay because, we feel like a lot of us, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, I know I feel like I'm like, geez, like I feel like I don't I'm getting tongue-tied because on the one hand, I know that everything I've gone through is for purpose and it's gotten me to where I am and all that good stuff. But on the other hand, it's like I wish I was where I wanted to be like right
Right.
now. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
wish that maybe those lessons ended maybe about 10 years ago. And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I wish, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I completely get it. And, similar to you, I feel like I'm present with understanding like the gap in my vision right now too. You know what I mean? And I'm like understanding what my vision has been and really working to redefine, realign, you know what I mean? Like with my intention and my affirmation for the month, realign with my highest good, and really see clearly for the long term. And so I've been present with understanding that I'm not really there yet, like even in my mind's eye, like I'm still like cleaning the window. Like I got my Windex in my, and I'm like wax on, wax off. You know what I mean? Like that's where I've been with my vision. Like I'm really working on trying to clean it up so that I can um really, really receive the highest vision. And don't get me wrong, to some degree, I have it and I know, but it's not as embedded as I would like it to be. And I'm understanding that. And I'm really, really working to give myself grace for that, really giving myself, trying to love myself through that. And really giving myself an opportunity to kind of like dismantle and reprogram and realign with my highest vision. So kind of similar, but it's really understanding that I'm still doing a lot of deep cleanup work, if you will.
Mhm.
Wax on, wax off. Yeah. I don't know why that just came to me, but that's how I feel. Like I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. Like, let me clean this
Yeah.
off. Like, no,
Mhm.
and it's like kind of still coming up, so if anybody can relate, please share in the comments. Like, how is your vision? Have you been present with your vision? Are you aware of, what your vision has been? Have you been able to clean it up? I have some, resources and tools that I've been working with for a long time. Like this is something that it's like they talk about peeling back the layers of the onion. You know what I mean? Like this isn't work that I've just started doing. I feel like I'm going even deeper, at this point. So we'll be sharing later on in the month some tools and some resources and some strategies and ways that maybe you can help clear up your vision. And but in the meanwhile, if you have anything, please feel free to share it in the comments. I'm open to all suggestions at this point. Um, all right, so in order to help us with our monthly goals and in our curriculum for the month, we like to have some journal prompts that we share with you all and that we sit with and we journal. Sometimes I sit with some of these journal questions for days and I'm journaling day after day. Again, there's just more stuff coming up and I'm peeling back more layers and there's more things that are coming to the surface for me to really work through. And so, Omi, would you like to share the first journal prompt that we have for the month?
Sure. So, our first journal prompt is, how do you receive vision? What is your personal method of receiving divine inspiration? And this question, it was really so that you can explore, or so that we can explore, because I will be doing this too, so that we can explore as a community kind of how we each individually receive a vision, because it's not the same for everyone. Some of us can meditate and receive a very clear vision. Some of us need a process. Some of us need to be in a creative space. Some need to be in a relaxed state. Do you get your vision when you're walking in nature? Do you get your vision just daydreaming? Or do you need to sit in a formal meditation or in some sort of ceremony or something? So that's what this first question is really trying to get at is what is your personal method? What works for you? How does the divine speak to you and get the vision to you?
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think it's so important for people to think about that. Um, I realized that I didn't create like my own vision for a long time. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I had to receive the vision that others had for me.
Mm,
I felt like I had to, just kind of like go along to get along to keep peace and, help out my fellow, man, friend, family member, whoever, you know what I mean? And I was going along with their vision and I would go along and over time I realized, yeah, this isn't what I'm looking to experience in life. You know what I mean? And then later on realizing because I'm going along with what someone else, whatever divine inspiration they got, however they received it. And the same thing with my parents, what they expected of me, really not being my true self. And so a big part of, deprogramming and, reprogramming ourselves is for me anyway, for myself, I'll say, has been for me to really sit back and think about, like you said, like how I got to, how I got to manifest the life that I have. And um, just really thinking about it, like, is this what I really want? You know what I mean?
mhm,
Is this what God put in my heart? Or is this what whoever, whatever put in, my friend's heart or whoever I was, with at the time, So
mhm.
it is a very, very powerful question for people to consider. How you receive your vision and, if you are receiving divine inspiration and trusting that within yourself, or are you going along with someone else's program?
Right. Right. Mhm.
All right. And so the next journal prompt is if I were to manifest my vision right now, would I be ready for it? I'm laughing because no, no, uh-uh. I sure enough wouldn't. I wouldn't be ready, and that's just me being completely honest. Chat, viewers, family, if you all manifested your vision, would you all be ready for it right now? Like honestly, because we've seen people, I've heard people say, I can get whatever, whatever I want. I manifest what I want. I can, I'm what is it, a mega manifestor or a super manifestor or whatever they say, like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Master manifestor, all of those. And it's like, but for how long? And how long is it healthy for you? And is it healthy for your family? Is it like seriously, can you really hold the weight of what it is that you're asking for?
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, just being honest. I'm like I said, I'm still peeling back the layers and all of that
Mhm.
good stuff. And I have to be honest with myself. I still have some work to do, just thinking about the things that I, am gravitating towards and the things that I am doing and whether or not they are really in alignment with what I truly want, you know?
Yeah.
It's a really powerful question.
It is. It is. Definitely. I think it's you could get exactly what you're trying to manifest and lose it because you're not ready to be a steward of that vision, you know. And no matter what it is, you could be trying to manifest millions of dollars through lottery and you could get it tomorrow and then lose it the next day.
Right.
It could be that big or it could be something small, where you're trying to manifest a particular job and then you get in that job and you go, oh, well, I'm actually not qualified for this job or I actually don't like this job.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great question. I love it.
And do you want to ask the last one?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Where in my life am I asked to see more honestly? That is a really powerful question and one that I really intend to sit with. I feel like this is something that I try to sit with um, on a regular basis. And I think it's worth sitting with on a regular basis because it's very easy to lie to yourself. It's very easy to say, of course, I'm ready to receive. What do you mean? I've been waiting for this for so long. When in reality, you're not ready, And so I think that this is going to be a very good question for kind of clearing, anything that may really be holding you back and making you not ready, or anything that may be slowing the vision from coming in because you may be visioning for, something specific, but that something specific, maybe it's not coming from the divine. Maybe it's coming from a place of hurt or fear or ego, And so, which I guess are all kind of the same thing. Hurt, fear, ego.
Hmm.
But again, it could be coming from a place of darkness and not necessarily a place of light. There's so many different ways that you could go with this question. And so I definitely look forward to sitting and kind of journaling or maybe doing some automatic writing and seeing what comes up with that. And I really do encourage all of our viewers to take these questions, write them down. We'll make sure that they are in the show notes. um we may post them in the chat as we go along. We've been trying to do that lately, is to post them in the chat, but also to make sure they're in the show notes so that if you want to come back to this later and look at them and write them down and really sit with the questions, please, please, please do. And feel free to share if it's something you feel that you're comfortable sharing. Never share anything you're not comfortable sharing, but we do appreciate, hearing what you have to say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Omi.
Mhm.
And so, this is our time during homeroom check-in that we kind of like to talk about the monthly transits. Like, this has been a very active month already, and we're only 7 days in. Like, I had to double check, like, okay, we're only 7 days in. We've already had a full moon, you know. That was a very interesting transit. I feel like for me, for the full moon, I felt very much like nesting and resting, and you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
cleaning up my home, and really, I don't know, I was just really tired. Like I wanted to rest a lot during this full moon, which is very interesting because normally I'm so active,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It was a super full moon in Cancer. And I had all the intentions of like clearing my house and, doing like lighting some sage and doing my Florida water mopping and all of that. I laid in the bed until noon. Doing
Right?
the other stuff.
Same.
It was a very low energy, kind of chill, like introspective day. Um, so yeah, it's already been a heavy month. Like, and this week, with this Venus Mars Sun conjunction in Capricorn, which is the opposite of the opposite sign of the last transit that we just talked about. Wow, there's so much that can go. It's like Venus and the sun first come together, and then, as the week goes on, Mars and the sun are going to come together. But for a little while, it's kind of all three of them like a degree apart. So, yeah, I'll leave it to you and see what you want to say, and I'll chime in if in a minute.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this transit until you mentioned it the other day. And so I started like doing a little bit of research and kind of like feeling into it after I saw what the internet streets were saying about it. And I just felt like this for me was, when I think about, Venus and Mars and the sun and all in Capricorn and the very grounded energy that Capricorn brings and how it can represent like your bones and your skeletal system and things like that, like really taking care of your body and the actions that you're taking and really choosing like what you value and what can you do, what can you bring to fruition. That's really what it was like. That's really what I was getting when I was thinking about it. And like for me, as you've shared before, reminding us to look in our chart and see like what house is it, lighting up for me. And it is completely lighting up the house of values for me. Like, what do I value? Valuing myself and you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like being gentle with myself and loving myself and honoring myself and putting myself in places that are healthy for me. And honestly, being reminded of the times when I didn't do that and not necessarily like beating myself up about it, but like really understanding like where a lot of that kind of came from and giving myself grace and love and compassion to like really work through those those feelings and those things, that's really what's been coming up for me, to be honest with you. What about
Hmm.
you?
Yeah, I mean, this is like right around in my fourth house because my chart, because I'm a Virgo rising, but it's like a late degree, not 29 degrees. So it's almost like my chart is the opposite. Every sign is in its opposite house.
That's funny.
It is. It's hilarious, I think. It's like a cosmic joke. And so there's been a lot, kind of with family relations and things like, which tend to be heavier topics, areas of life. So it's been a heavy transit for me, really around my relationships, my personal, very intimate relationships in my home. Um, and I'm looking forward as we get to the end of the week, kind of that Mars energy with the sun, the Mars and the sun conjunction, because the Venus energy has been kind of a low energy. I feel like it's kind of a heavy, low energy thing. And as we move into, you know, the Mars Sun conjunction being more prominent, I'm hoping for like a pick me up, like some desire to do some things and some action and um but yeah, it's really showing up because like there's things that need to be done around the house that like suddenly we're just all like, "Oh yeah, we need to do this." And so it shows up in big ways and it shows up in little ways.
No, seriously. It really does. It's amazing how it lines up for all of us. And we're all feeling the energy, but it's just coming up in different
Right.
ways, you know what I mean? And so I think, that's why it's good for us to understand and also have like that compassion for each other because like while it's in a certain house in your chart, there's other people in your home and it's hitting a different house for them, you know what I mean? And so us coming together and it's so good. You always talk about how you're like stalking everyone's chart
I
in your
do.
house and you know what I mean?
I'm a
And just
chart
making
stalker.
sure you're right. I love that. We got to tag that for you, chart
Chart
stalker.
stalker. Yes.
That's so funny. But yeah, but just like understanding and then like in on a grander scale, like when you go to work and you're, you know what I mean? Like you're just some major heavy energy. Capricorn is a heavy energy, you
Mhm,
know what I mean?
mhm.
And so you're going around different people, or you're out and about, and you're interacting with people, and these heavy energies are affecting us all different. And so it's just so good that everyone just, just really taking into some consideration and try to be gentle with yourself and gentle with others, and
Hmm.
understand that, yeah, there's a lot going on in the sky this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what about the next one? So that's this week. Later on in the month, on the 18th of January, we have a new moon in Capricorn. I think, you
Hmm.
know what? I want to say real quick. I think that this cazimi, I guess, or no, this conjunction that we're having with, Venus and Mars and the
Hmm.
sun this week, I think it's really good to like help prep for that new moon. You know what I mean? Like really identifying your values and identifying with that Venus energy, like what aligned actions are you going to take, and you know what I mean? And really getting yourself rooted in that, and during the moon energy, and like feeling some emotion and allowing yourself to like really lean into that for the new moon, so that we can really hold that vision this month that we are
Hmm.
working on, and that'll take us into the next month. How do you feel about the new moon in Capricorn coming up?
Oh, well, as a Cancer, this is like my opposite sign, right? But all Cancer is also ruled by the moon. I always say that. I say that all the time when we talk about moon transits. So yeah, I it's really a time of intention setting with new moon, and so it's the start of a new cycle, and so I I feel it's for me going to be a time to really kind of set intentions around for the house that it falls in for me, which is for me the house of home. Right,
Right.
home, mother, family, right? It falls in that fourth house for me. um Setting intentions around that, particularly with respect to Capricorn themes. So getting things done, making sure that things are taken care of, being disciplined. Capricorn is um the 10th house, which is reputation and all of this. So all of those themes are there. Career. I yeah, it's just all of that.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm gonna sit with that. I think doing some of these journal prompts will probably help me with setting some fresh intentions come Capricorn, this Capricorn new moon. And in a couple days later, we have that start of Aquarius season. So, that's another start, a new cycle, so I feel like they're going to kind of come together, and that I'm going to really need to sit with, Aquarius is really invention and like ingenuity, and maybe there's some things around the home that I need to think out of the box, and so I just kind of put those two things together. But that's what I'm, thinking of. I mean, there's so much that's happening just within a few days there, like the Mercury entering Aquarius, and Mercury is a big one for me too. So um yeah, it's a lot to take in all at once.
It really is. It really is. I feel like it's a lot of shifting to like really again like help us to get aligned within. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? The Capricorn, like you said, it's about your work, your reputation, and again, like the actions that you take, and to bring those things to fruition. And then you got Aquarius that is more it's about friendships as well, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
your communities as well. And with me being I have moon in Aquarius and tropical, and so I always feel like Aquarius season is just so interesting for me, especially when I started like paying attention to like Aquarius season. It's like, wow, like this is a time where, my moon is activated, my third house is activated. I am having a lot of communication, and I'm just really like really like moving and shaking and doing a lot of things, you know what I mean, during Aquarius season. And it's actually one of my favorite times of the year, even though it's still like pretty cold out and there's, there's a lot to um be um I want to say a lot to be done, but for me, what I've been learning also is about, Aquarius being that visionary. And so I love
Mhm.
that we are, talking about, our focus this month is vision, because I feel like I've been leaning into that over the last few years. It's like making sure that I'm embodying the vision, really deeply that I want to manifest for, the upcoming new cycle that we're going to be leaning into. And yeah, Aquarius season is always very interesting for me.
Mhm.
I'm very interested to see how these journal prompts are going to come, especially throughout the month. Like I said, I may journal about the same thing a few times,
Right.
throughout the month to allow it to really, to really get deep with it and allow things to show me,
Mhm.
what it is that I need to focus on. And at the end of the month, we have Neptune entering Aries on January 26th. And that's like a really like major
Yeah.
transit. Like
It's
the first one,
generational. Yeah.
right?
It's a
Yeah, the
generational
first ones
transit.
were, yeah, it is. These other ones are like, a week, a month, or a few days here and there, but this one, Neptune and is going to be in Aries for, is it like 20 something years or something like that?
It's a long time. I don't
It's
remember
a,
exactly, but I know it's a long
right,
time. Yeah,
right.
it's gonna be there for quite a while, and I mean, it's basically finishing up a cycle and starting a new cycle because Aries starts off the zodiac. So, it's leaving Pisces. It's which is really its like home sign, right? Neptune, Pisces. That's right. Get
Hmm.
that right? Okay. And so it's leaving that and moving into Aries and kind of starting this new cycle with this Aries energy, which is, a very it's sun energy. It's not sun energy, but it's fire energy, and it's like movement, and it's action, and it's motivation. And Neptune is like dreams and visions, and it's really aligned with what we're doing right for this month, this theme that we have for the month. And I'm interested to see how this manifests globally, kind of, across humanity, and what it's going to bring. Are we going to see more action on dreams, or are we going to see more delusion? I don't know.
Right. It's so funny you mentioned that because I was saying to myself, like, I see so many people starting, podcasts and, starting channels and, just really share, even just sharing on like Instagram and, threads and, all these different social media platforms, like sharing their vision, like what they, sharing their thoughts and what they think and really what's in their heart, like taking control and like kind of being like, I'm thinking like, I don't want to say pioneer because it's like so many people are doing it, but it is kind of like that, like kind of like taking control of their lives and like deciding, hey, I want to share my thoughts. I want to share my vision. I want to share, you know what I mean? Like so many people are doing it. And so, I definitely see that like coming up like as like a preview, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's just so many people are like even us, like we decided, you know what I mean? Like and we didn't know, you know what I mean? And like we're just really, really getting into it after, 6 months now. We've been really leaning into the energy more and more and looking to expand and just share more with our community. And I really think that it's going to be a good time for those of us, especially those of us who want to like take charge for the greater good. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it's about for me anyway. I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. You know, some of the people who have the most mindsets around like disconnection and discrimination and you know what I mean? These hierarchical mindsets and you know elitists and all of that, they have all the audacity in the world. Like they have no problem getting up here and sharing and spewing hatred, whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that it's, you know, it's definitely a great time for those of us who really believe in the goodness of, you know, unity and love and community and all of those things. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. And so seeing this transit come up, it's just I don't know. I'm not an astrologer. you know, I do study astrology. I don't claim to be an astrologer, but it feels right for me. That along with Pluto being in Aquarius, which again is all about community. It's all about, you know, visionaries. It's all about everything we shared, you know, before, the collective. And I think that with so many of us taking the with so many of us taking like the helm and saying, hey, I want to share you know, my vision. I want to share about, you know, I want to, you know, have community. What Pluto I think is going to do over time is show us how we can come together. You know what I mean? Because that's one of the things that, you know, even I was sharing with you recently about how, you know, I want to see more of us coming together. Yeah, we're all gonna have like our own things going on, and you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We gotta stay putting out good energy and making sure that we are creating and sharing from a good space, but coming together in community as well. Like we can't forget that part, you know, we can't like I don't necessarily like I want to see my sister over there doing her thing, but I also want to see her over here with me and us coming
Right.
together and sharing sometimes and making it even bigger bigger impact together because we're
Yeah.
stronger together, we're better together. So,
Right. Right. Right.
yeah. Do you
Yeah.
have anything else you wanted to share about those transits?
No, no, but I do want to ask our viewers if any of these particular transits kind of hits home for you, if you're, what are you thinking about how these are going to affect your life? What house do they fall in for you? What area of life? Yeah, anything you want to share about how these transits are affecting you? Or questions. I don't really call myself an astrologer. I do study astrology and I do readings from now, from time to time, but I don't do it professionally. So I'm happy to try to answer questions in the chat if anybody has any questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Umi is amazing at astrology. And so, yeah, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm sure she'll be able to help you and, you know, give you some sort of guidance on, you know, how you can really get the most out of these transits. You know, that's really what it's all about. It's about really leaning into the energy and making sure that we are working with the universe and not against it, you know?
Right.
So, all right. And so now is the time in our homeroom check-in where we start to share our sacred announcements. And so for this month, we wanted to focus on what we have, you know, coming up in our upcoming episodes. And next Wednesday, we will be diving into vision as a practice. Again, we're going to be talking about, you know, receiving the vision, holding the vision, and manifesting the vision. And we have some other things that we'll be sharing as well. And that's on January 14th, if I didn't say that. And then on the 21st, we'll be doing a vision deep dive. And we're not exactly 100% sure how we're going to tackle that, but we'll definitely let you know by next week. We have some ideas that we've been kind of like, perusing and, kind of throwing out there. And so we'll definitely share with you all next Wednesday about, the deep dive in that we'll have on the 21st. And then finally, to wrap the month up on January 28th, we'll have our study hall and we will be sharing, really practical ways for you to lean into your highest vision. And like I said earlier, I'll be sharing some of the things that have helped me, and we will be sharing some of the things that have helped her. And we would love for you to gather some of your tools and share them with us as well. In the comments or whether on the recording on excuse me the live broadcast or on the replay as well. We'd love to share. We'd love to hear from you. We really would,
Yeah.
because it's really
I
all about us coming together. Go ahead, Umi.
I just want to say really quick, if you have anything you want us to bring forward in any of these, the study hall or even our deep dive that you relates to this topic, put it in the chat. We'll definitely consider it, and if it's something that we feel like we can speak intelligently on, because not always can we do that.
Right.
Not always can we do that. We are on the journey as well. Not always informed on everything, but put it in the chat. Let us you know, try to we want to be a community, so we really want to be addressing things that you're interested in. Um yeah, that was just what I wanted to make sure I put that out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so true. We definitely we are wholeheartedly, as we stated before, we are definitely your peer guides here in the Earth School journey. We've done our share of work, and we want to help others along, the way, because we feel like there's just so much out there, and we want to be one of the voices or two of the
Hmm.
voices for for the highest good. We really
Right.
want to put positive thoughts, words, and actions into the collective consciousness, not only for ourselves and our families, but for generations to come.
Hmm.
We are so blessed to have, this technology where we can go live and share with you all. And we don't take that lightly. It's a responsibility, and we want to be one of the ones that are doing it on the up and up. So yeah, please
Hmm.
share with us. And we're not going to share anything with you that we are not actively either doing or have done, or we don't speak on things that we don't know, as
Right.
Umi said.
Yep.
But yeah, we definitely are open to your suggestions and um, just branching out and
Yeah.
expanding our community.
And if ever a question is asked that we can't answer or that we don't have a lot of experience in, or sometimes the answer to your question is, I'm a hot mess in that area of life too. I have no idea.
Still
Give me some
working on it.
suggestions.
Still working on it, right?
Right.
It's just real. It's so funny. We both just started reading Ayanla's book, Ayanla Vanzant's book, Spiritual Hygiene, and we were talking about how honest and how, vulnerable she is in that book. It just came out. If you don't have it, I highly recommend you go get it, because, as many people as she has helped, she has still been going through it behind the scenes as well. And, that's not to say that you can't help people when you're going through things, you know what I mean? Because she has helped a lot of people. She has helped me in a lot of ways by watching her shows, reading her books, and things of that nature. But life is going to happen to us all. We all, that's the whole thing when it comes to understanding life, you know, it being a school of sorts. Like we all have lessons that we are going to continuously be learning, whether we are helping others or not. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so it's been really, I don't want to say refreshing, but kind of like affirming to know that, you know, someone even, you know, as, you know, established as she is, you know, even while she's was helping, you know, millions of people across the world, you know, is still going through life. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's one of the things that, you know, Umi and I, like we really connected on that very early that, you know, while you know, we have gained so much knowledge, like I've, you know, I don't I like the classes and the books and the things and the rituals and all of the ceremonies and all of the work that we've done, but it doesn't make us necessarily better than anyone. It doesn't
Right.
make us above anyone. But if we can share, you know, our journey with you all to
Mhm.
help you all, that's what we're here to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not to say that we haven't, not to say that we are above anyone or anything like that. And
Right.
so it's really been it's really helped me a lot because you know, I just keep saying to myself, I'm like, oh, I've done so much work, but I got so much more work to do, you
Right.
know?
Right. One thing I love about reading this book and her being so honest is that it reminds me that we are we call it Earth School Journey for a reason. We are in Earth School. We position ourselves as peer guides, as fellow students in this school of life, right? And sometimes you ask a classmate or a fellow student for help, and they give you a bad answer. Because they didn't fully understand at that point, you know, or they give you half an answer, or, they don't really get it. And so it's so important to always take anything you get from anyone into your own heart space, into your own time with spirit, and, you know, let spirit inform you and take it directly from spirit. Anything that we present, anything that anyone presents, any guru or anything like that, you still have to take that into your own time and determine if it's fit for you. So, yeah, that was what I wanted to add.
That is so true. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, we all, you know, while the curriculum is similar, we all have our own lessons to learn, our own ways to get there. And, you know, it was so, again, like listening to Miss Ayanla, I heard so many similarities in her story to mine.
Mhm.
But again, it's like everything that she's done, I wouldn't have necessarily, you know what I mean? Her walk
Right.
isn't, even though we have similar challenges, it doesn't mean that her walk is my walk. So yeah, thank you so much for reminding everyone that, you know, what you know maybe what I have to say, it may help you, but it may not be the final answer. You have to sit with source yourself, and that's I love that so much because as we have been really learning about how, like, I don't want to, you know, negate the benefits of church, but you don't have to go through man or woman to get to God. You know what I mean? You can get to the Most High through your own, on your own with yourself. But if we
Right.
can help you and kind of give you a little nudge in the right direction, we're so happy to do that. So yeah, thank you so
Right.
much for sharing. And with that, we are right at time. And so
Yeah.
we want to thank you all so much for joining us here in the new calendar year, 2026. Um, again, this is Earth School Journey. I'm Uni. This is my lovely co-host, Umi Steph. We're your peer guides. We hope that, you know, Homeroom Check-In has been fruitful and helpful to you. And we look forward to seeing you, same time, same place next week. Omi, do you have any closing words?
Oh, just gratitude and gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for everyone who tunes in, who watches the full podcast, the shorts, that comments, everything. We so appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for walking this journey with us. Yeah. Till next time.
Till next time. Peace.
Peace.